Hello, my name's Sarah Richardson, and with me is Jade Quirk, and we're both from the Russell-Cooke Children and
Family Building Team.
We thought it might be helpful to have a little chat today, which may answer some of your questions in relation to building families. So, as we have Jade, who's an expert in this area within our team, I'm going to ask you a few questions, Jade.
Sure.
Let's see how you get on. So, let me begin by asking this. Is surrogacy legal?
It absolutely is. However, there's lots of rules and restrictions relating to its operation, but it's absolutely legal, although the laws are incredibly outdated and are in need of much needed reform.
And is that happening?
It absolutely is, and we are waiting for those reforms and what they are going to say later this year.
Excellent. We'll watch out for that then with interest. So my next question is this, and lots of people have asked me, how do you find a surrogate in the UK?
Yeah, it's tricky, and I think, Sarah, if you haven't got a friend or family member or someone you know that's willing to help you, the best way to find a surrogate here in the UK is through one of the 4 non-profit agencies that operate here. They are COTS Surrogacy UK, Brilliant Beginnings, and My Surrogacy Journey. There are also lots of independent surrogates, but if you can, one of those agencies will be able to help you.
Thank you, that sounds very useful. And the other thing I've often wondered about is, can you pay a surrogate in the UK?
Yeah, you absolutely can, and again, it's one of those sort of misconceptions that you can't. But again, we go back to this whole idea of there being rules and restrictions, so you can only pay a UK surrogate her reasonable expenses. There isn't any definition within the law around what reasonable expenses are, how much they should be for, so it's really just a case of sitting through and working through sensibly with your surrogate what she is going to need to feel comfortable and not left out of pocket throughout the surrogacy arrangement.
Great. And the other thing that I wondered about is, if you have a child this way, who goes on that child's birth certificate?
Yeah, so the birth certificate will reflect the initial legal parenthood position. So what that means, Sarah, is the surrogate will always go on the birth certificate as the legal parent. And then if she is married or in a civil partnership, then her partner will then automatically also go on that birth certificate. But that's only a temporary birth certificate. And what will happen is when the parents apply for the parental order following the birth of the child to resolve legal parenthood, they will then get a new birth certificate which has them both on there as the parents, or in the event of a solo parent, just that solo parent.
Wow, that sounds like a lot and something that you might need an expert to help you with. And it sounds like it's something that you know a lot about.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's one thing that we get a lot of questions about, but I'm always happy to help with those sort of trickier birth certificate queries.
Excellent. And then one last question, and I think there's been quite a lot about this in the press, and I wonder whether you're able to help us with, can I make arrangements with a surrogate who's not based in the United Kingdom?
Yeah, you can. I mean, international surrogacy is quite popular with British-based parents, and there's a number of reasons for that. Largely, I think the legal parenthood position, that's not attractive to many British parents, so they prefer the security of going overseas. For example, the US, where they can go through a pre-birth court process, they can get a birth certificate where they are the legal parents. So there's lots of destinations, the US as I've touched on, but there's also Canada, Georgia, and many other destinations. But I think the key thing to stress is that if you are looking at surrogacy overseas or planning an arrangement, you should always get some advice, because you will also carefully need to think through the immigration and all of those sorts of other legal matters as well.
Okay, so not just within the children and building families team, but an immigration advisor as well.
Absolutely.
And we're able to do that here at Russell-Cooke as well.
Yeah, we can do that all under one brief, which is often helpful for many parents. They don't have to go to different law firms and go and see different people, so absolutely.
And one final question, when thinking about your area of expertise, what other areas do you think people may need advice in that we can offer them here at Russell-Cooke?
Yeah, so I think just touching on sort of the international, those parents who are looking at international arrangements, definitely immigration advice to think through how they're going to bring their child back to the UK to live securely when they are born. Also then thinking through putting wills in place or making sure that wills are updated to provide and make sure everything's set up as part of that surrogacy arrangement. So they're really the 2 key areas. Sometimes parents need employment advice if their employers aren't so surrogacy friendly. So all of those sort of key areas I think are probably the different departments, particularly within Russell-Cooke, that I work with, Sarah.
Great, well that sounds really helpful, and I hope we've answered some questions for people who need help in these areas.
Yeah.
Thanks for talking to me, Jade.
No worries.